Brian Windhorst joining us from the Cobra Dome. Welcome, friend. You know, before Game 4, LeBron texted his teammates the words "must win." The Lakers had a 2-1 series lead then, and as we showed you at the top, here's his explanation for that.
When I woke up from my nap this morning after our team meeting, I just felt that. I felt that vibe. I felt that pressure. I felt like for me personally, this was one of the biggest games of my career. I just wanted to relay that message to my teammates, what type of zone I was in, what type of moment it was, because I just know how great of a team that we're playing against. But I feel like if we want to be a championship ball club, if we really want to be a championship team, then we gotta have that same grit and that same attitude.
So, Brian, you literally wrote the book on LeBron. Are you buying that last night was one of the biggest games of his career?
Well, he's got to say what he's got to say to motivate his teammates and, you know, whatever. That's his job. This wasn't even in the top 20 of his biggest games of his career. The biggest game of his career was 2012 Conference Finals, down 3-2 in Boston. He loses that game. His whole career might have a different tenor to it. This wasn't even, in my view, in the top 10 or 15 finals games of his career. All 3 games that he played with Richard Jefferson, down 3-1 against the Warriors, were bigger. When he was down 3-2 against the Spurs and he came back and won those 2 games, those are bigger. There's more. But look, whatever LeBron's got to do to get his team fired up, God bless. He's been in a lot of adverse situations, and this was not one of them.
Brian, nobody knows LeBron better than you. And I will say that this was a piece of motivation, but I also see the importance of what LeBron is saying. You're talking about a guy who's played 17 years in the league. He don't have the same fuel that he had 10 years ago. But you're also talking about a guy that he has a chance to be an alpha. When you're talking about winning a championship for the Los Angeles Lakers and being the alpha dog, that puts you in Mount Rushmore. And I know exactly where LeBron is going because he thinks that this is going to mark him as the greatest player to play the game.
No, you guys both have some great points, but you know, we all know, like, your most important game is the next one. And I think that's kind of the mentality that he was taking. Now, he is uncharted territories here. Of all those finals that he's ever been in, he's only been favored a couple of times, and he's never been up 2-0. So as players, as much as you want to hold on, sometimes you can feel things slipping away. I'm pretty sure that they knew that Bam Adebayo was going to play in this game. So when they say must win, that means the longer Bam plays, the more energy this Miami team gets. So he said, look, we had a chance to have a grip on this series and go up 3-0. We lost it. Now here's our chance to go up 3-1. This is a must win because, as we know, 2-2 is a completely different monster. And I think that's why he was saying this was one of the most important games of his career because of what was at stake if things started to slip away.
And also a little bit about what I talked to at the top, which, Richard, I saw you nodding at. Scottie, I'm interested in your opinion, too. As the chances get fewer and fewer, as you know, you've got less at-bats at it. I've watched it with so many athletes. I mentioned Derek Jeter. I watched it with Pete Sampras. I saw it with Brett Favre. There are so many guys who have had these incredible careers, and in the final year or two, you can see them almost getting more nervous and holding on a little more tightly than they ever did earlier, more in their quote-unquote prime, because they know this is toward the end. And I'm not saying LeBron's going to retire after these finals. He could have 3 more years of doing this, but compared to the 17 years, that would make this the end stage. And I just think you start approaching it a little bit differently when you know there aren't that many more at-bats at the plate.
Yes,
there is not very many more.
I definitely feel like that. LeBron is taking an approach that, you know, he don't know when he's going to have this opportunity again. But he's also trying to minimize the amount of games that he have to play as a player. I mean, he's been in the league 17 years.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.